Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. It is day 12 of Inktober and I am so excited for you guys to be here, and as always thank you for joining me and watching this video. Now please forgive me ahead of time. I fear that I am coming down with a cold. I have taken some emergency to try and fight it, but my voice might be a little bit off or might crack throughout this video, so fair warning. Hopefully it'll pass and we will just be done and over with that. But anyways, jumping into today's video, I, as you already knew ahead of time, am going along with doing Harley Quinn to match my Poison Ivy and Catwoman from the last two Inktomers. And with that, I did stick with a simplistic Harley Quinn in the sense of I didn't add any props or really anything extra to her. I had thought about doing something where maybe I did another Harley Quinn down the line where I had her like hammer, or I even thought about like throughout this possibly putting in her gun that like she shoots out and has the little ribbon that says like bang on it and everything, her like prop gun. But it was one of those where as I was designing her and putting her all together and had laid out the entire sketch, it just fit a lot better having it just be her when I put all three of them side by side. So when I put Poison Ivy, Catwoman, and this Harley all together, it felt more like a cohesive piece, a trio, having her just be kind of the silhouette of her portfolio rather than having extra objects or props in the illustration with her. So with that, it was one of those where I wanted to obviously make her design a bit more quirky, a bit more cute, and a bit different than the other two. And so with that, I kind of gave her a bit more of a unique pose, and I had a little bit more fun with that. And then also decided to just go for it, and I gave her a winky face so that she's got more of like a fun over exaggerated or exaggerated kind of wink on her face to give her that cute quirky personality. And I think it came out really well, especially once I get to laying down some of the shadows with the ink wash. I try and highlight the smile with some of the smile lines, like the smirk that she has with the smile lines, to try and help assist the way that the wink is. And of course it helps me to practice my expressions, because as I'm sure you guys have noticed that I have very similar expressions throughout most of my ladies, and every now and then I change it up, and a lot of the fun I have is with their eyebrows, if I'm being honest. But yeah, I think this one came out very cute. I think it's a cute face, and it works out for me, in my opinion, with Harley, because she's the one with the quirky, fun, and different personality. Now, the one thing that I did do with this is I kind of flipped through a lot of different inking pens. I used a Copic multi-liner, I used my Pigment Microns, I used the Tombow brush calligraphy pens, and a big thing with that is that a lot of times when I'm doing heavy line work like this, especially with a lot of black shadowing and a lot of the thicker, I know I want the heavy black lines, I'll do something along the lines of switching between different sizes. And with that, a lot of times comes different pens. Like a brush pen is obviously great for the really thick lines, or laying down a lot of ink really quick in small areas like I did on her neck already. And so with that, I, like for example with this piece alone, I switched between a 01 for doing the details on her face, like figuring out her eyes, kind of putting on the banner or her mask, her little short face mask and everything, and then switched to a PN or a Pigment Micron that's PN. I don't exactly know what that stands for. I just assume it's like pen size. But anyways, it's more of like a pen in itself, and it lays a thicker line or it can lay a thin line. And a lot of times I'll go with like a 0.2 or a 0.3 and kind of just build the line up to get the thickness that I want. And then sometimes I'll switch over to a brush pen to already just lay thick lines out the gate, because I know I want the lines to be thicker. Now, with this, like I said, I have a love-hate relationship when it comes to laying black pigment ink. I love the way it looks and I love how dark it gets, but when you're trying to kind of leave a good bit of highlight lines to show the discretion in your line work, and to be able to show the difference between like where the folds of her hat are, the white space to kind of show the creases, it is not easy with just a pen. And I have a lot of those kind of lines that I wanted to keep because I did a lot of different folds in the way that her position in her body is and everything. So I tried my best to kind of lay out the white highlights at a level that I think showed them really nicely and kind of was able to give the effect that I was going for. And I'm such a fan of Harley, and I love the way that this turned out, because it's like I said before, I used the Arnhem 1618 paper again for this because I love the way that it takes this red. This is that Liquitex professional ink in the crimson color, the Naphthol crimson, and for whatever reason, this paper and this red just eats it up in the best way. Like it just lays super smooth. The gradation of it is just very nice. It's very opaque, and I don't have to worry about the way that it sits or if one part's going to be too dark versus another part. It just absorbs the pigment and the ink perfectly with this. The black, any black that I've used doesn't quite lay the same, but it still lays a good bit, and it lays really nicely and it looks good. And I kind of go over it to make sure that it is sitting the way that I want to. But the red, man, I could spill a whole bottle of this red on this paper just to have fun with it. I don't know why. It's, you just have that like oddly satisfying feel when you put down a color and you're like, oh, that's nice. Like, it's really nice for whatever reason. But yeah, it's one of those where I literally used 3 colors for this whole piece. I used the Black Star by Dr. P.H. Martin's Matte India ink for obviously the black of her outfit, and all of the wash, the background wash, the shadowing, all of that. The Liquitex Professional ink in the Naphthol Crimson for all of the red because I love it, and the Dr. P.H. Martin's Bombay Blue strictly just for her eye. That was literally the 3rd color and the only thing I used it for. But I think overall I could have gotten away with just using the 2 colors and still had fun, but I wanted to add that little bit of a flash of different color in there just to kind of tie it all in and have fun with it. And I think it came out really nice. I think overall, with how well the red sits and everything, it made it nice and poppy, and it really stands out, and it makes her very cute. And I'm absolutely in love with how this turned out, and I hope that you guys really enjoyed this video. As always, I just want to thank you for watching, and I will see you guys in the next video. Take it easy, and thank you for liking, commenting, and subscribing.